On a Tuesday morning. It's raining here in Muizenberg. It's been quite cold and it's been quite amazing just to be able to spend this time with you. But right here now, we say thank you to Nico Kleynhans for joining us in studio. Good morning, sir, and thank you for making yourself available to chat to us.
Yes, I was asked to speak on two themes, hope being one of the two themes. And the story of hope, in many ways, has two opposite assumptions.
Yes.
It talks of the assumption has to be that there is a challenge that we're facing, and yet, in spite of that challenge, there is hope. And there is a sense in which that is a contradiction, because one doesn't often find no hope, challenge, and hope fitting together in a single theme.
True.
But those two do fit together. And since the advent of time, humanity has faced that particular challenge. Now, I go to a coffee shop whenever I come to the studio.
Yeah.
And outside that coffee shop, there's a cornerstone that says 1901. That was when that building was opened.
Wow.
And the first time I saw that, I hesitated to go into that building because of 1901.
Sure.
You see, in the year 1900, at what is now the Simonstown Golf Course, that was in fact a prisoner of war camp.
Sure.
And my relatives, the men, were taken to that prisoner of war camp. The eldest, the clan head, was 80 years old. And he was considered a threat to the state.
At the age of 80.
At the age of 80. And he was sent off to Ceylon. And his brothers, his sons, the rest of the male clan was also there. But they were sent off to the island of St. Helena.
Wow.
And growing up and speaking to their descendants, I was told that the wives, the women of the clan, were sent to the first ever concentration camp built by the British in Harrismith.
I actually went to that particular concentration
camp. And in that
site.
concentration camp, 3 of the young children, all 3 girls, died. Largely because it was not possible to get any kind of decent food there.
Yeah.
And there was no ways it was possible to get any kind of medical care of any sort. And the family told me often how they cried to God. And they kept asking God, why were foreigners taking our land? And why were invaders doing this to our people, and particularly to my clan and to the people that I am part of? And then the other question they kept asking God was, why, God, are you abandoning us? So that was how they perceived that particular thing. In the 1970s, I sat in front of a security police officer. And his job was to decide who would leave his office and stay alive.
Sure.
And whose life would be terminated. Now, the sad thing was that he was part of our clan. He was part of our tribe. And he knew my family.
Sure.
And he had to decide what my fate was going to be. Because he absolutely hated me, in spite of that which we had in common. Because I had come to be a Christian. And I believed that one of the things that God called us was to act with justice and with fairness. And I believe that we could not find common ground because he could not see that, and I could not see that, what his ground was. And so I remember him saying to me, you're going to go, and one day we're probably going to be back in the same room, except you and I are going to have to be deciding on my future.
Sure.
But he never really understood my goals.
Yeah.
It was never about revenge. It was about being fair to other people. And so you can imagine my frustration when so many years after liberation, we still have unfairness in our country. We still have some people, different people, who are being deprived. We still have people who are not getting a fair deal. And there's still so much wastage and corruption,
Yeah.
so that we are not sharing. So how then do I put hope and change together? How do I set aside my preconceptions? And how do I open my mind to spiritual truth? Now, Rachel, before we started, I asked you to read a verse where I think an answer lies.
So 1 Corinthians 13:12 says, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known."
Now, the truth is that we're never going to fully understand the mind of God. And it is, as Paul says, we're looking in a mirror. We can see there's something, but that mirror is misted up. We can't see what is really happening. So out there, we have to accept there are times that we are not going to see God's plan. Out there are people who have lost hope. There are people who are afraid. There are people who feel spiritually defeated, and some have no friends. But where stations like CCFm have an advantage, and why their ministry is so important, is that they can reach out beyond the walls of churches. They can reach out to people who will not normally be touched. And so their ministry is critical to bringing about hope. And this is where we listeners can come together with CCFM. And we can join forces with them. And we can enable that footprint to be enlarged simply because we have learned to be obedient. And so I want to encourage everybody listening, get involved in bringing hope. Unless hope is declared clearly, the people will die spiritually.
Yeah.
And CCFM has collected people who are able to communicate, who are able to speak. We need to enable that ministry to spread. If the voice of CCFM were to go silent, it would be an unbelievable tragedy for those who have found hope here and for those who will still find hope here.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the thing, hey. Hope is almost fragile on the one side, but on the other side, it's so strong. And the transformation that can take place in an individual's life is amazing. I know a time when I was standing on a very tall building, as a matter of fact, one of the only two tall buildings in Bloemfontein. And I was standing at the top there, and I was seriously considering to jump because I felt hopeless. I felt as if there was no reason for me to live. I didn't have many friends. I felt like my life was just a meaningless, mundane routine, Monday to Friday, having to do this and do that. And I had massive pain inside of me. But on that ledge, God met me. And he gave me hope.
Yes.
And so today we're asking you, would you be part of the hope solution that we need, not only in our city, not only in our country, but in this world? Because times are dark. Circumstances are difficult for everybody. But we need hope. And the way that you can be a part of this solution is by, as Nico said, digging deep and giving to this ministry that is called CCFM, because your finances will go where people maybe that you'll never meet will hear about the story of hope, will hear about that story of hope that is found in Christ Jesus. The way to do so is to send us a WhatsApp message to our WhatsApp line, which is 061 798 1075. And just tell us how much you would like to contribute it. Maybe you want to just do a once-off lump sum amount. Or maybe you want to partner with us every month for the rest of the year on a monthly basis. And you want to say, you know, on the 25th of every month, I'm going to give X amount. The amount doesn't matter so much to us. What matters is that you're saying, I see what you guys are doing and I want to be a part of it. And I'm willing to sow my hard-earned cash into this ministry. Send us that WhatsApp. Give us your name. Tell us the amount that you feel you need to give. And if you add your email address, that'll be great. The WhatsApp number to use, 061 798 1075. Because at the end of the day, our hearts are about proclaiming that message of hope, of showing people, of demonstrating it, and giving them an opportunity to encounter the one true living God. Thank you. Thank you for your financial support, and thank you for hearing us this morning. Nico, thank you to you too, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.